Welcome back, it's Leah. Today I want to talk to you guys about financial abundance and your negative limiting beliefs that are keeping you in a situation in which your basic needs are not being met. If you see yourself over a long period of time struggling to even have your basics, this video is for you. I am going to attempt to remove any of the negative blocks that are in your mind and your spirit right now that are keeping you in this place that you don't want to be, especially if this has been happening for you over and over for a number of years. The most important thing that you need to realize before we even get started on any specifics is that there is a part of you inside, in your mind, in your heart, your psyche, that believes that the status quo that most people around you are able to achieve, like living independently, having any kind of reliable transportation, having free time where they're not working all the time just to get by, having their basic needs met, you believe that you do not deserve it. There is some aspect that you are latching onto and believing that this is who you are and that this dictates where you're going to keep going for the rest of your life. You are telling yourself, I am not the kind of person who is capable of finishing my education, getting a decent home to live in, of getting any kind of car that doesn't break down 24/7. You are telling yourself that it is not possible for you because you are not those people. Even though a lot of the times you'll have the same opportunity, you'll have the same education, you'll have the same family support, why is it that some people get out of these situations and others stay stuck, or even things get worse? It's because you are attaching yourself to the identity of someone who does not have money. That can come from a feeling of not being worthy of having your basic needs met because of something you encountered earlier on in life. That can be because of a personal failure that you've gone through that you believe is your fault. So because that one thing or those two things didn't give you the result that you were expecting and you weren't successful at it, now you're attaching to the identity of, I am someone who fails at my endeavors, so I may as well not try. And this is called learned helplessness. If the way that you grew up, you are accustomed to not having money, your parents didn't have money, they struggled, people around you struggled, and then people like your neighbors or someone down the street had abundance, you tell yourself, I am not one of those people. Abundance belongs to others outside of me. My norm is to have zero or to have very little. And especially if you are a young person who has never actually had money in the past, it can be quite scary and nerve-wracking to finally have something in your bank account. It is just a new reality to get used to. But I am aiming this video more at those who have been stuck in these situations over a long period of time. I am sure if you can relate to this, why can't I make it? There must be something wrong with me. That's what you tell yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong about what you are thinking in this moment and the identity that you are attaching yourself to. You need to stop observing the situation from the first person and try to detach and see yourself if you were another person and you were just like sitting on the porch observing people walking by in the street. You need to start looking at yourself that way and say, why is it that I am here and these other people are there? Why is that? You believe you don't deserve to be where the rest of them are. You believe there's something faulty or defective about you. And you believe you are not one of the types of people who are capable of having the things that you want. You tell yourself, I should not go into this career, even though I would think it's kind of interesting and I would love to be able to do that, because I'm not the right age, I'm not the right skin color, I am not the right race, or I don't have the right type of personality to be like them. Even though I'm interested in this and I know it would give me the lifestyle that I want, I can't fit the mold of the current types of people that do that, so I don't deserve to go after it. And you stop yourself before you even try to get your foot in the door. You tell yourself it's not going to work out for you even before anyone else tells you, without really knowing that you could have found a path in. You could have paved your own way. You tell yourself that you are too old or stupid to learn a new skill, or you're too lazy to get it done, even when the opportunity is right there in front of you. You tell yourself, oh, well, I am already so exhausted when I get home from my job. How can I possibly consider doing this free class that showed up in front of me in this subject that I find to be interesting, that would quadruple my salary, and that I wouldn't need to depend on my parents anymore or on government benefits anymore, and that I could live on my own. You tell yourself that you're too lazy. And the truth of it is that you're not too old, you're not too stupid, you are not too lazy. You are simply afraid, and you are lacking the courage to take a step into something new. You are nervous about change and stepping into unfamiliar territory. Where you are right now, although you have very little wiggle room, you believe that you are safe somehow staying in this place. I've mentioned this to you guys before. You need to get out of telling yourself that just because where I am right now has somehow worked in the past and I'm not dead, that means that it's better than something that could happen in the future. Another thing that I see a lot of people do is have this all or nothing mentality that is extremely toxic. You can't just tell yourself, I'm going to go from barely making enough to scratch by to having a $500,000 or $1 million home. You can't just get there in one go. And a lot of people convince themselves that it's not good enough if they just take a tiny step up, that it won't be any different, so it's not worth the effort to make tiny steps to get up. So what you have to do instead is take a sales job where you are about to make the biggest closing deal on your life, and that is going to change it all for you. Even though you know that finding those clients that are going to buy $1 million home and you're going to get like a crazy amount of commission, and that's just going to change everything for you. Even though you know that's difficult and that's very unlikely, you go toward that option instead of taking a step forward. Like, if all you make is minimum wage, get a job that pays you $2 more, and then get a job that pays you $5 more in the next year, and then get a job that pays you $5 more for that. Learn to see what's ahead of you right now, how you can make small changes. If the other thing is too far away, you need to have a feather in the hand, because that is better than a bird in the air. Be realistic about where you are and how you can move forward in life. And this type of thinking translates over into when you finally get something in your hand, in your wallet, in your bank account, and you see that the number is not $10 and instead it's 1,000. You tell yourself, hey, I have so much, because before I had zero and now I have this. I have so much I can spend. You need to stop being nervous about holding it in your hands. You need to start getting comfortable with the reality that money is going to be a part of your life. You are not a zero type of person. You are just a person. Detach. That money, that amount, that number figure is not who you are. It has nothing to do with you or your value. You need to stop telling yourself that suddenly my life is going to be this huge different thing and I am scared that I can't keep up with it. Relax. Your life is going to always be the same. You're going to have the exact same place that you're going to live in, the exact same car, if that's what you choose. Start looking at it as it is just a figure. It's a number in an account that belongs to me. That is not me. I will always be what I choose to be in this current moment, and detach from it. That has no significance on your self-worth. And stop telling yourself that you suddenly have so much to spend. Stop relaxing when you have something in your hand. The way to grow is if you have something, like if you had 100 before and now you have 8,000, pretend that 500 of that doesn't exist. And the other 500 is only there for your basic needs to be met. Do not spend it, because then it will disappear. Don't tell yourself you have, and relax. It is just a number. As long as my basic needs are met, as long as I am living a decent quality of life, that is all. This is a tool for me to have food, clothing, and shelter. This is not, oh, now I'm going to go out to restaurants and start offering to pay for everyone because I have. If you spend it, you will not have it. This is so stupid that I have to say this out loud, but like honestly, there's so many people who don't get that. If you get money back from your tax return, which is coming up in the next couple of months, that money is not there for you to finally do the thing that you've been wanting to do, to get the Botox that you've been wanting to do. That amount is there to give you mental sanity and stability. If you can't get yourself to believe that you deserve to at least be middle class, to do the things that are free and available to you to climb your way up, then at the very least believe that this is a number that you are not allowed to touch. Tell yourself, this money that I just received from my paycheck, I'm going to put half of it in a high yield savings account, and that savings account is God's money, not mine. Don't touch that shit. That is not your money. You need to have a clear goal in mind. Like, I don't want to be flipping burgers, and give yourself a reasonable amount of time. In 5 years, I want to be able to be somewhat out of debt, have a working car, and have a apartment I can live in. In 10 or 15 years time, I'd like to be saving up enough to own a home one day. I'd like to have all of my loans paid off. I'd like to start a family. You need to have a long-term goal. When you don't keep this in mind, you start to think like it's cash on hand, like it's like a candy, it's a freebie, and you're gonna spend it all. Another thing that really pisses me off, you tell yourself when you see a good situation in front of you, like a really good opportunity to where you can make more money, it's easy and it'll at least help you out a little bit. Oh, that sounds like it's a little too easy, and I don't know, I don't like it. It's too easy for me, so I don't want to do it. Are you kidding me? These damn limiting beliefs and mental blocks that you are creating that are keeping you in poverty. The reason why you are broke is your own damn fault. How many of us tell ourselves, it's too easy to do that, so I just won't. It is like a slap in the face. Another thing is telling yourself you have so much money to spend when you only have a little bit of money, and you think it's a lot of money because in comparison, a month or two ago you had a zero or you had $5 in your account. Now suddenly you have 500 or 1,000. You're like, wow, I'm drowning in money. But relatively speaking, how is that a lot? How is that anything, actually? That's what you're gonna need to spend on your basics. How does that qualify you? Why are you surprised? This is just what you need. Money is just a number. It is just a tool. It's like a pencil in your book bag. Do you have it or not? If you have it, you'll be able to write and do the test, the assignment that is in front of you and pass school. If you don't have it, you're going to struggle. You're gonna have to wait till the last minute for your classmate to finish, and then they let you use the pen and you only get to fill it in for 5 minutes. And what if you fail? You would think that somebody who has more responsibility on their shoulders, who has other people to take care of, is going to understand that every decision that they make matters, and it's not to be overwhelmed and rush and do nothing but work right here and now. It's to look at it in the long term. Life will always give you surprises. You don't know what's going to happen in the future that you are going to need extra tools for. So save up more of these tools for future use, and don't spend them now on things that you don't need. A lot of people resort to hopelessness instead of forming a plan. You tell yourself, I am just never gonna get out of this situation. I must just give up because it's too much to think about, instead of detaching yourself. And that's what I invite you to do today. Money has nothing to do with who you are as a person or where you're gonna go in life. There's gonna be a lot of naysayers with that statement, but money is a tool to get you the things that you need. You are not less worthy because you have $10 in your bank account. All you are in is fucked and in trouble, and you need to do something about it. And I think it's extremely irresponsible to entertain yourself away from the troubles of making a change and having your loved ones have to pay the price for you than to form a plan, especially long term. There is no excuse. If you've been in this situation 5, 10, or more years, that is your own fault. Another thing that people do is isolate. You think if I'm just here on my own, if I never challenge myself, like if I just let myself be convinced that I'm not interested in dating anymore, if I let myself be convinced that all I need is a small circle of people around me, then you're never gonna have to be up to the standard of someone who needs to present themselves in a way that is equivalent to the type of person that you want to meet. It's easier when you can hide yourself, when you think I just don't need it, and you're not exposing yourself to new people and opportunities and reaching out to your community. It's easier, but you know what it is? You want to stay in your comfort zone. That's the truth. You think it's too hard to wake up in the morning and show up to a job that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And instead of, oh, what can I do that doesn't start at 8 o'clock in the morning? You're like, well, I must just not be able to handle any kind of serious situation. I'm just not gonna attempt it. That's too big for me. You have to start by giving yourself the permission. Give yourself permission to have this coin purse flow, overflow, be filled. If you think you're not worthy, if you don't allow it to happen, it's never going to happen, and you're going to keep your laser focused vision on what you lack, and you're going to be missing all the opportunities that you could have easily taken with the same amount of effort that you are using to keep things together now. Detach from the identity of someone who doesn't have, of someone who isn't worthy. You will still not be worthy of all the things you think you're not worthy of, regardless of that money amount. Now, by you attaching that feeling of lack and that feeling, the identity of I'm not deserving of, you are fucking yourself over in an extra aspect that you don't need to. And I think this is a really useful tool because you start off with, I'm gonna detach this undeserving, unworthiness from money, and then I'm gonna detach that from dating. Maybe I'm unworthy, but not to date. Maybe I'm unworthy of other things. And then you go to the next point, which is maybe I'm unworthy, but I'm not unworthy of making friends. Maybe I'm unworthy, but I'm not unworthy of having my own family, of having my own home. And then suddenly you find yourself with the thought in your head of, I have been told I'm unworthy, I have believed I'm unworthy, but what is it attached to now? It's nothing. It's just a thought in my head of something that was placed there by someone else, and you squeeze that into a corner instead, and you pick out every aspect of your life. Money is just a number. A partner is just a person who's there that I'm compatible with. Friends are just people I spend time with. All of these things around me that I want, that I need, have nothing to do with the fact that I am unworthy. If you can't get rid of that limiting belief, at least push it into a box so that you can still have the abundance around you. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next one.